Hi everybody, you like my shirt? I don't usually blame the dog. Anyway, yeah, hello. I've been doing some thinking, some searching, and within myself, trying to be, very honest with myself, try to figure some things out. And I'm coming to the conclusion that I might be bisexual or pansexual. I just want to say that there was only one guy in my entire life that could pop my piece and flick my bick. He was a boyfriend that I had when I went off for my freshman year of college. And actually he was a jerk, sorry. I mean, that's just the truth of the matter, and he was a jerk in a lot of ways. And that was a turning point for me. But let me say, growing up, I always had a whole lot more crushes on girls than I ever did boys. I mean, there was a few crushes I had on boys. And mostly, it was crushes on girls. That was just me. Although I was in denial at the time that I might be a lesbian. When I was young, of course. Typical. I didn't want to be the freak, the butt of the jokes. I didn't want to be that, So, I didn't have a lot of good friendships, relationships with boys growing up, and didn't have really good relationships with men in general growing up. There was one boy that was a good friend. We got to be pretty close, and he lived in the neighborhood, and then he moved away. But other than that, I had friendships, but they were never very close except for that one. And I was sad when he moved. You're a kid, you have no choices, He's a very sweet guy. I think he was gay. And he got bullied a lot. And I think he was gay. I don't know for sure. But I think so. So, went off to college, met this guy. And we hit it off. I mean, he knew... I think he was bisexual. He denied that he was. He said he was attracted to men until he looked at their crotch and saw a bulge in their jeans, and that turned him off. He couldn't deal with that. But yeah, he was a bit on the feminine side. A bit on the feminine side, not terribly feminine, but yeah, he was a feminine guy, very good-looking guy. Nothing wrong there. Very nice-looking guy. But he was a jerk. I mean, there's no other way to put it. So, I will say, by today's definition, I was raped. By today's definition. Back then, I didn't think of it as a rape because I was not brutally beaten. The deed was not finished. So I didn't consider it a rape. And even if I had, I would not have gone. I don't think I would have gone to the authorities. That would have, would have just dragged me through the mud, and, no. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure that he drugged me. Now, I can't prove it. I mean, time's gone. It's years ago, so I can't prove it. But he had a sign on his headboard that said, candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker. Yeah, I didn't like that sign too much. And, he was a nursing student, and he worked at the local hospital as an orderly, and he was really into drugs. The fun drugs, he talked about them a lot. He wanted to get his hands on them, kind of obsessed with it, and I didn't really approve of that. But I was at his house, and we were in bed, and the girl says, no, that should be the end of it. I mean, you only take it so far. I had never really been with a guy, and I didn't want to be penetrated, to be honest. I still don't, by a guy. So, yeah, I ate some soup there and drank some tea or something, and I think he might have slipped something into my drink because I had a feeling of unreality. I was really giggly, and I wasn't a giggly girl at 18. I'm more of a giggly girl now than I was then. I was a little bit more serious in a way. So, I just didn't feel right. And if that's what he did, and gave me something to, slip me something to get me, it didn't work. Like I say, it takes a lot to knock me out. I mean, I don't know if he did, and if he did, I don't know what he used. I have no clue. I don't know. So yeah, I'd never been with a guy, and he was like, he got on me and penetrated me, and I'm like, no, get off, no. And then he tried again, and and every successive time that he was getting on top of me and trying to, and he did penetrate me, not very far, but like the last time that I did this to get him off was, each time was more violent to get him off, it was more of a push, and he finally got the picture and left me alone. And I just pretty much decided after that no men, never again. I pretty much decided that from that instance, and my relationships with boys and men before that time. And I was trying to be normal, what society wanted, trying to be normal, and it really it didn't work. It turned into a disaster, actually, didn't it? Yeah. But what got me was, here I had this boyfriend. We were seen all over campus kissing. And there was a girl from my high school. See, I was out in high school, and there was a girl from my high school that was, spreading the rumors around that I was gay. Which maybe I was naive. I was rather shocked by that, the rumors were still being spread, even though I had a boyfriend, and we were seen kissing a lot, actually, and yeah, it's, I've been thinking about it, and it's like I just made up my mind, no men, women only, forget it. If this is what guys do, I don't want anything to do with them. And I know not all guys are like that. I know. But actually the emotional bond was not the same as I would have with a female. The sexual desire was not as strong as I had with a female. So it just, it just was not as intense, And I didn't want to be penetrated. And I don't by a guy. And I don't know that I do now. Maybe that's too much information, but yeah, that's what happened. And I'm sure things like this happen to other people. It probably happens all the time. So what does that make me? I don't know. I really don't. Does that make me, I'm more lesbian than anything. So let's get that out of the picture. Does that make me bisexual? Does that make me pansexual? I don't know. I don't know. Or am I asexual? We'll throw that one in there too. So, I'm trying to figure all this out, which is kind of difficult because, okay, if you watch my videos, as far as sex is concerned, you probably think I'm as wild can be. And that's just not true. Far from it. I think after I was like 19 or 20, I figured out that I did not want sex with a female for just sex. I was with someone and it was just for sex. I knew I didn't want a relationship with her, and I thought that she didn't want a relationship with me. It was just for sex. I don't know about her part. I projected my feelings onto her. And we were met, we did what we did, and then afterward I just felt awful. I'm like, I can't deal with this. Sex for just sex? No, it's not for me. There's got to be love there, or I'm not going there. And, I'm sure I've left a lot of women wondering what the hell was that? Because I am, you know, I've always been the type, well, since I was 19 or 20 anyway, that I'm not going to do the full tilt boogie unless I'm sure that there's going to be a relationship there. And that's, like I say, that's probably left some women very, very confused, you know, because a lot of times women, I mean, they'll take off all the clothes and they're ready to go to town the first time you know, that there's any kind of sexuality, you know, going on. I mean, they're ready for everything. I'm not. I mean, you know, it's part of it, you know, it's like, you do the full tilt boogie. For me, a part of my heart goes with that. And why would I want to give my heart to someone that or even a tiny piece of it, of someone, you know, that I don't love, that doesn't love me, that there's not going to be a relationship there. That's just the way I've been since I was probably, I don't know if it's 19 or 20. That's just me. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Not a thing in the world wrong with that. But it's even more complicated for me now. Because there was a while there I was thinking that I'm asexual. I may be, but I don't think so. Here's the thing now. It's even, well, I don't know if I'd say I was more strict than I was before. I mean, I would make out with a girl, but we wouldn't go all the way. You know, I wouldn't go very far until I was sure that there was going to be a relationship there. But now, I have the feeling if I did find myself wanting to find a partner, that I would not want to be touched in a sexual way at all, unless I was sure that there was going to be a long-term partnership there. So it's like hard to go out and find out if you're asexual or not, if you're, you know, not willing to do anything. I mean, you know, somebody can, you know, if I could feel comfortable with someone, they can hug me, they can kiss me on the cheek and that kind of thing, as long as it doesn't go sexual on me, you know. That's the way I feel like I would be, and probably would be. Of course, I don't know until I wanted to put myself in that situation. I mean, I don't know. That's just me. I mean, a lot of people, well, I had a gay guy friend that passed away, and there was a part of me that was envious of him, because it didn't matter. He'd have sex with somebody, and it didn't, I mean, he'd have sex with them, they'd come to his apartment, and then he'd throw them out after they were done. Let's get out of here. He'd throw them out. And I understood what was going on. He had an abusive partner for years, and one day he got up the nerve to throw him out. And that probably, you know, I think it almost killed him, because he did love the guy, but the guy was abusive to him, and he had enough. And I think he did not want to become involved with someone on an emotional level. And really, who could blame him, you know? That was his choice to do what he wanted to do. But yeah, I was envious of him in a way, that he could do that, but I can't. I don't even want to try. It'd be stupid to try, even. So yeah, I'm still, you know, don't know what I am, but at least, you know, I'm being honest with myself and looking at it. I mean, you know, I know people that are straight ladies, and they think by being married that, so-called straight, yeah, that the so-called by being married and having kids is going to protect them from being bisexual. I mean, they're not, they can't hold it in their mind, you know, to even think about it. They just go into denial, and that's it, you know, that's it. They won't think about it. So, you know, and I'm coming at it from a different perspective, as a lesbian, looking at it and saying, I might be bisexual or pansexual. And I am drawn to androgyny. Whether, you know, if it's a female, kind of right in the middle of the gender scale for me. And if it's a male, it's going to be right in the middle of the gender scale for me. And that's kind of where I fit, kind of right in the middle of the gender scale. You know, the androgynous type. And mostly, of course, you know, if I'm drawn to a person, a female, they're going to look like me. I mean, you know, not exactly like me, but, you know, this is my type. Me, what I look like, as far as the gender scale is concerned. So, yeah, being honest with yourself, trying to figure it out, you know, why close a door to something that might be who you are? I mean, you know, to be open to that. But like I said, I don't know that I'd ever want to be penetrated by a man. I really don't. I don't. And if I don't know that guys would put up with that. A woman that, you know, a woman that would not allow them to penetrate them, or you know, or let's say this and say it this way: they would have to be very patient. Yeah, and you know, and there's not. I just don't think about guys that, you know, in a sexual way that often. It just, I don't know, let's say, you know, to be honest, is because I built that wall to say never again, never a guy, never. That might be a small part of it. Because even before I had that experience with this guy, you know, I was always had crushes on a whole lot more girls than boys when I was a kid. Always. So yeah, to have an open mind about yourself, search, seek, find. But yeah, I don't know, you know, I mean, do I have to label myself? You know? I don't know that I need to, but being honest with myself and what I feel and how I ended up where I am. And that's the honest truth. I mean, he changed it, I mean, for sure. Not that I was, you know, that attracted to guys to begin with, but that was like the wall and the door slammed shut, you know. But yeah, I don't know if that is pansexual, what it is. I mean, there's not any guys that I can think of that I'm attracted to. Actually, right now, I can't think of any women either. I mean, you know. And there's always the thing of people trying to fix you up or think that, you know, you should have a partner. And I just gotta say, you know, I'm much better off alone than with the wrong person, you know. And I actually had somebody, oh my gosh, I can't believe people think like this. Of course, maybe I should. I had a person say to me, well, you should find you a boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever, so you'll look more attractive when the right person comes along. And I'm thinking, what? What? So I can use someone and maybe break their heart. Use someone until the right person comes along. Now let me tell you this. If I'm with someone and somebody comes along and wants to break us up, that's not the right person for me. No, that's not the right person for me. So, you know, you got with someone to just break, you know, just with them to, so you look more attractive and break their heart and maybe break your own heart in the process. You're not going to be, you know. No. So I just can't believe how people think, you know. And some of my thinking, you know, it comes from walking away from Christianity and questioning, not only, you know, after I figured out Christianity was BS, it's like, okay, what else about society is BS? So I started questioning everything. And I'm not talking about questioning whether murder is wrong, rape, you know, the usual things that, you know, I never question those. Those things are wrong, you know, definitely. But, you know, I even, you know, question the way society thinks, the way, you know, like they think you should have a partner, you're not complete, and all that bullshit. Much worse off with the wrong person, because, like I say, if you take somebody, you know, just so you have somebody, you know, you're going to break their heart, because it's, you know, for me, if I'm with somebody that's not right for me, I'm going to break up with them. I mean, that's just the way it is. And I've never never been a lipstick lesbian. I'm not a lipstick lesbian. A U-Haul lesbian. I've never been a U-Haul lesbian. Like you meet somebody and move them right in. I mean, that's... No. I've waited and had it be a mistake. Obviously, you know. But you sure are going to maybe making a bad mistake if you meet somebody and move right in right away. And I'm sure sometimes it works. I mean, sometimes it really works and they stay together for the rest of their lives. I mean, it might. I don't know how many, the percentages on it, but on how often that kind of thing works. But for me, no, I'm more careful than that. And then people too are like, oh, Tammy, you're too picky. No. I mean, there's certain things that I would want in a person, and it's more about the head and the heart than anything. And if those things aren't there, I mean, no. And then too, right now, I'm almost of the opinion, it's almost like I've lost faith that there's anyone out there that I would want. It's like, I mean, I'm sure there might be. I'm sure there might be someone somewhere, but the thing is, are they local? That's the problem. I mean, and you really don't get to know someone, until you sit across from them and look in their eyes. And then on top of that, you really, really don't get to know someone until you live with them. And then, of course, I'm not gonna want to live with somebody, until I know them very well. But yeah, I'm sure other people have had these things these kind of things happen to them, and I almost of the opinion that just about everyone can be bisexual. Now, I'm not trying, if you're a woman, I'm not going to try to convert you. I'm not trying to, change anyone, but yeah, I do. I think that just about everybody could be bisexual. It's just with the right person. Just like for me, that one guy, as far as the popping my peas and flicking my bick, he was able to. And I'd never met anyone before that, and I have never met anyone since. But then the thing about since was, yeah, I closed that door and built that wall and said never again with a guy. And who could blame me? I mean, I don't know about the definition when it happened, if it fit the definition of rape, but the definition now definitely does. It definitely does. And like I said, I didn't feel like it was rape because he penetrated me, I don't know, like 3 times or something, not very far, and I didn't consider it a rape. I don't know what I would have considered it to be. I really don't. I don't know what I knew that I didn't want to be around him anymore. I mean, that's no respect. I mean, he knew, definitely knew I was not ready for that. But then tried to do it anyway. And possibly drugged me. Not a good thing for me. I mean, in my thoughts, and how I felt about guys. Not a good thing. Not a good thing to happen. And, I don't really mind speaking of this. I hope it might help somebody else to think some things through and understand what they're going through. Maybe they're going through something similar. So, I'll just say I wouldn't lock and bar the door against the possibility of a guy. Let's just put it that way, possibility. Maybe a maybe. You know what I mean? yeah, guys, don't do that shit. You know? Don't do that shit. You mess up a girl for, somebody that's a lesbian and maybe, might take a guy. You just really screw them up where they never would. And I think like I said, part of that was to try to fit into society at the time. Trying to be normal. That was a big part of it. And there was a part of me that was glad that I found an attraction toward him. I'm like, well, maybe I can be normal, I'll never be normal. Never. But it didn't, definitely didn't work out. Definitely didn't work out. So I'll label myself, I don't know if I should, but just thinking, pondering, and wondering. It's a good thing to do, and it can be hard to do, to be honest with yourself and think about such things. It's just so much easier to just say, well, I'm a lesbian, and no, never even think about something like that. It's much easier, because I had to go back and revisit what happened with him. It was very traumatic, I mean, I trusted him, and that trust was definitely breached. And it was very painful what he did do. He wouldn't, he might believe it, I'm sure. Not a good thing. And I've had women that have, I'd call it molested me as an adult, doing things and you're telling them to stop and they don't stop. Of course, it's, men are definitely more aggressive that way. But yeah, I've had some women do just messing with you and won't leave you alone. Just keep it up and up and up, and stop. Yeah, I had that done to me. It was a lesbian woman, and she just wouldn't leave me the fuck alone. And I was in a relationship with Linda. Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Get your paws off me, Yeah. So, no, somebody says no, and I don't say no in a way that can be mistaken for a yes. You're gonna know when I say no, I mean no. Especially if you're on top of me and I'm doing this. Get off of me. Yeah, I think I just finally, the last time that I did that to get him off of me, it was, it was across his chest. I don't think I left a bruise or anything. But yeah, he definitely got the point and stopped. And I got up and left. And didn't ever want to see him again. Ever. And he didn't come back, which I was glad. That was my freshman year, fall quarter. And he didn't come back winter quarter. And I was so glad. I mean, the campus was big enough that, I might not have ran into him. And then I might have. It's according to chance whether I would have seen him or not. But no, I did not want to see him again. But there were good things in the relationship. I mean, we had some really fun times, and if he had been a good guy and had been patient and kind and respectful, I mean, I might have married him. I don't know. Well, I don't know where that would have led. Actually, he would have been happy, maybe, because his goal, one of his goals with me, was to get me and another woman in bed. Oh, yes, that was his goal. That was one of his goals. He made it known, very much made it known, that was what he wanted. So, I mean, when I make a commitment, I mean it. But, boy, I don't know. I mean, what if I'd married him and then fallen in love with a woman? I mean, it could have been a mess. And if hell, I don't know. It could be a mess if I tried that now. I mean, you know, I just don't know. I don't know. But yeah, the middle of gender. I mean, I like girls that are, you know, of my state of gender, or whatever you want to call it, androgynous, and I like men that are androgynous. I don't like the burly redneck. Sorry. I just don't. And I don't know. You like what you like. You can't hardly help it. But, you know, I'm not shallow about it, though, you know. I mean, if you're, you know, if it was someone they'd have to have some really good traits, though, for me to go for a more feminine woman. They would have some barriers to overcome there. But I'm not absolutely shallow about it. But yeah, this is a very enlightening and open, being very open about how I feel. But yeah, I'm sure there's been plenty of people that call themselves lesbians that have been through the same thing and built their walls and said never again. And I really can't blame them if they did. You know, I really can't, because that can just ruin, you know, the thoughts of being with a guy. Well, they would never want to again. You know, I'm not going to paint all guys with that broad brush and say all guys are like that. I know better. I know better. There are guys that are respectful and, you know, and patient and would never do anything like that. But let me say, the ones that do act like that, I mean, they ruin it for the good guys. I mean, they really do, you know. They really do. So, and believe me, I know there's things about being a woman that aren't fun. There are things about being a guy that aren't fun. So, you know, there's shitty things about both being, you know, being a human, period. That's for sure. So I feel for guys, what they go through. I mean, you know, I do. I feel for guys, what the stuff they go through in society. I try to, you know, put myself in their shoes and think about what they go through. Not much, you know, sometimes there's a lot in life that's not fair that we have to deal with. But that's life, isn't it? You gotta find a way to deal with it. Well, what a mess of a video, I tell you. Well, it's nice talking to y'all. See y'all later. Bye-bye.